Let me introduce myself first. My name is Romadhona. My student number is J1E020056. I am majoring in English Education 2020. Here, I will explain one of the material from English Morphology course. There is a productivity. Here, I will explain some of the material about productivity. I will explain some factors that cause blocking in productivity. But before I start to explain about it, I will explain a little bit about what is blocking. So, blocking is defined as the condition in which there is a prior existence of another word with the meaning that the putative words would have usually. Perfect synonym are avoided. So that is the definition of blocking. And this is three factors that cause blocking in productivity. The first one is morphological factors. The second one is semantic factors. And the third one is aesthetic factors. Okay, next we go to the morphological factor. This is the first factor that causes blocking. The morphological properties of a base might prevent the application of morphological rules. Alternative morphemes behave differently from foreign morphemes. Some affixes are typically added either to native bases or to bases of foreign origin. Velar softening is an example of this factor. Velar softening only affects words with Romance roots. So, according to the rule of velar softening, the k sound is usually spelled as the letter C when attached to word with Romance roots. So here I provide some examples. Cynic, cynical. There is a k sound in the word cynic and cynical, but it becomes cynicism. It sounds like C letter. The next example, critic, critical, become criticism, criticize. Fanatic, it becomes fanaticism. Ascetic, become asceticism. Skeptic, become skepticism. As it has been mentioned above, velar softening only occurs with Romance roots. So if a thinker called Black developed a new philosophy, we might call it a Blackicism instead of Blaicism, since Black is not a Romance root. Next is about semantic factors. Semantic consideration may impinge on the application of word formation processes. Normally, the negative prefix "an" is attached to positive adjective to form the contrary. For example, "an" plus "well." Well is a positive adjective. It becomes unwell. On the other hand, when "an" is attached to a negative adjective, the result form will be awkward. For instance, "an" plus "sad." Sad is a negative adjective. Unsaid. Unsaid is not acceptable in English, and it's not equivalent with happy. So, "an" that's accepted in English, such as unwell, unloved, unhappy. But unill, unsaid, or undirty is not acceptable and sounds so awkward. In addition, semantic consideration also affect the process of compounding as a productive way to construct a new English construction. Take a look at the process of forming compound below. Those in A are acceptable in English, yet those in B are not. So in A part here in the presentation is acceptable in English and B part is not acceptable. Let's take a look about it. The first one is A part. Short-sleeved shirt. That's acceptable in English. One-armed bandit. Also acceptable. Next, red-haired woman. That's also acceptable in English. And then the last is blue-eyed boy. It's also acceptable. It means that boy that have blue eyes. But here, take a look on the example. That's not acceptable in English. For example, two-card family. It's not acceptable to refer a family with two cars. Okay, the next example is big Alsatian woman. It's not acceptable to refer a woman with big Alsatian. Okay, then we go to the last factor of that cause blocking. The last factor is aesthetic factor. In some cases, word formation is inhibited by fake aesthetic factors. There are many examples of words that are in principle well-formed whose adoption has nevertheless been resisted. In 1970s, the word stagflation or stagnation plus inflation was coined to refer to the combination of economic stagnation and a high level of inflation that affected the world economy at the time. So far, this word seems to have failed to get a firm foothold in the language. Aesthetic consideration may have something to do with it. Some commentators consider it ugly, so that word is not used anymore in recent situations. So that is the explanation from me. I hope that my explanation can help you to understand more about productivity. I'm so sorry if there are any mistakes in my explanation, and see you next time.